got trapped. Just bought the freaking ladder. That happens. It's funny though. So I changed weapons slightly. And now I'm getting used to the new weapon. Jesus. Come on. Come on. I'm retraining, Joker. If you're still there. Am I winning? I'm having fun. Frustrated, but having fun. So I think that qualifies as winning. That's irritating, because that certainly shouldn't have happened. That was awful. Uh-oh. Oh, there's one. Now that there's two, I'm not so sure. Jet dive. Ah! Range. So I'm practicing on these guys to get better at the melee aspect. The challenge that I'm currently living under is I'm going a little fast and loose with the challenge rules, but it's to basically play something that would be the equivalent of like a medieval knight. So I have to stay away from armor, magic weapons, that kind of thing. So the biggest change is it never occurred to me that from a stat perspective, this stupid brass shield is is actually the best medium-sized shield in the game, or at least in the original game. I haven't compared it. Actually, I meant to compare it stat-wise to some of the other ones, but unless you need something specific like lightning with this one, it's apparently the best. Like, here's the heater, and here's the brass, right? Brass is it's twice the weight, but in every other way, it's better. I wasn't sure if I upgraded like the Wolf Crest shield or any of these ones, which are some of the DLC shields, if they would be better. I haven't really checked that out, but when it comes to the swords, I was sticking with the straight swords, the long straight swords, but not like I played with a Milady, for example. These would fit for the most part, but something like Golden Epitaph, it wouldn't. Magic, right? And I was playing with the broadsword versus the noble slender sword, and the advantage the noble slender sword has is it's much longer range for this type of weapon. But the broadsword is strength based, which is where I'm my strongest. What I was considering though is can I Ash of War the broadsword with the same ability, Square Off, which is what it already has, except give it a heavy. So now it's a... these ones, yeah, they're tough. I mean, keep in mind, I'm also running with a light armor build. I mean, it's heavy armor, but I'm light category instead of medium. Ah, dang it. Nope, he busted in. Ah. Now, come on, roll out, roll out. Jeez. Ow, ow. So I was just trying to figure out, how to get the melee and stuff done. If I put on a heavier weapon, I'm more likely to break these guys, break their poise. Anyway, but I'm probably going to go back to actually, proverbially exploring the runes, if you will. So I think I'm getting a little bit better with these guys. I've opened up this way, and I've opened up part of the way over here. I actually have more to do. Trying to get these guys to start fighting each other, because that amuses me to no end. I love that. Ah, haha. Let's see. Ah. Should pay closer attention to my health. What? What? Alright, that just makes me mad. Oh my goodness. No, I broke the rules by casting that spell. Honestly. So, my faith is higher than the other ones because of some of the things that I will use, but actually I'll show you my stats. They're crazy, by the way. I set up these stats not for this build, but I didn't feel like I needed to go back and redo them. So my plan had been to run a colossal tank, and I was going to use a sunflower, the fingerprint shield, and then the solitude set. And the endurance allowed me to have a medium build instead of a medium load build without having any talismans to give me that. That was the goal of that. Hence the endurance of 99. Strength of 80, strength build's kind of obvious. And then the rest was just sort of, yeah, it is, but they talk about the hard cap. The hard caps exist for specific things. For example, your endurance will keep adding weight to 99. It's not capped at 80. So that's something to keep in mind. That's why I went up to 99. Literally, it has to be 98 if I'm wearing that suit of armor, right? If the gear that I'm wearing is this Solitude set, okay, and then I'm using the fingerprint stone shield, and I'm using the sunflower. Notice I'm still medium load, but that's because it's 160, which is what you get with a 99 endurance. And it's 98, I think, is sufficient, but I wanted enough to be able to put at least something light on as well. I had to be able to cover the weight of the talismans, for example. But yeah, that's actually where this build came from. So I can actually use, I mean, imagine this set and still being able to do a medium speed roll. Well, it turned out that with that, if I went to a Lordsworn Greatsword, Lordsworn's Longsword, which is what I had been using, I'm switching, I think, to the Heavy Broadsword. But switching to this, and then I had been using this shield, but I switched to brass because apparently it's better. And then I went down to, I was using the Black Knight stuff. I had been using the Death Knight stuff, but it doesn't give me any particular benefit, so I switched over to Black Knight. Except apparently I missed the Black Knight greaves somehow, so I have to wear a different set of greaves. So I went with whatever lightest greaves would give me a light load. Oh wait, hold on. What did I miss? Oh, I still have the Greaves of Solitude on. There you go. Death Knight greaves. So I would use the Death Knight greaves. I think, yeah. And then oh, duh, that's why. So that goes to the brass shield, and then I switch to broadsword, and now I'm light load. Even though I'm actually wearing plate armor and using brass shield, which is the heaviest of the medium shields, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. This character is in New Game 3, so this is the third playthrough. I have 2 other characters that are New Game 3. This is the character I've been streaming with all. Alright. I guess that takes care of that. Before I forget. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, New Game 3 is where the trash starts to get a little bit tougher. It's weird that this section is where they put a whole bunch of those things. Oh, hell. It's actually easier to beat the game if you've done the DLC. DLC gives you some pretty damn useful stuff. The Ash of War. Yeah, fair enough. This guy. Telu, it's earth-shattering when it comes to the game. There's only one or two bosses that aren't, I would say, nearly trivialized with that guy. Oh, you also need heal from afar. That spirit is... Yeah, I can't see the map yet. So it's in kind of a weird place in the northern part of the map, but he's obscene in terms of power. Yeah, yes. So let me make a comment about that. The advantage Mimic has is not what people think it is. The advantage that Mimic has is whatever build you have made, it is just duplicating what you do. So if you've made an excellent build, it is excellent at that, you know, what it is that you're doing. However, it is not as much DPS as you are, it is not as powerful as you are, and it won't make the same choices that you make. Sometimes that's a good thing, right? You build yourself to be a caster type, and the Mimic gives you the ability to start, like, it'll use some of those spells that you normally don't use, even though it's actually a really good idea, right? So the problem is that I find having a complementary Spirit Ash is generally much more valuable than a match Spirit Ash. So if you're playing a heavy melee build, right, what you really want is to toss a DPS guy over there. There's actually a healer Spirit Ash, by the way. But ignoring that, because they're not very good at healing. But if you set aside the idea that you want two melees bashing into a creature, you can drop one of the glass cannon or range types, one of the archers, one of the casters that'll keep casting spells from afar while you're doing your thing. It just adds to how much damage that you do. And if they pull threat, you can just run up and take it back, right? If you're a hardcore caster, you want something that can actually take hits and can, you know, break the boss and can keep its attention so that you can stand as far away and keep throwing damage at it. And with heal from afar, you can heal your spirit from that distance. The Mimic will never be complementary because it's always whatever you are. If you're melee, it's melee. If you're caster, it's caster. So if you have a boss where you just need to absolutely pour as much damage out as possible, yeah, Mimic's pretty good, which is why Mimic works pretty well against Millennia, right? Because you need to out DPS her healing. At a minimum, you have to do that. So if you make yourself high DPS and then you make a Mimic that's high DPS, you have two high DPS. Problem is that she'll also heal herself off of that Mimic, just like it will off of you. And that doubles the problem if you're melee and you make your Mimic melee. Well, then you have two creatures meleeing on her, and she's smacking both of you, doubling her healing. So the Mimic is really good in certain situations, but in many situations, I don't think so. I know it's like a favorite in the game, but people just fall in love with it, and I'm like, I don't get it. I think pre-DLC, I think the Marionette Soldiers is one of the best Ashes of War. For two reasons. They have great DPS, but they're fragile. But they also keep the poise bar low. So normally what happens is every time you hit, right, you're taking a little bit of poise off the stance, right, off of the boss. And then while you're not hitting it, it's coming back. So you need to do really big hits because that bar is filling pretty quickly. But the marionette soldiers, they don't hit very hard, they hit a lot. And that keeps the bar from being able to gain. So they can break stance on a boss, but if you're trying it, they will make sure that you don't get the tickers not coming back. So you can keep knocking it down lower and lower. And then Telu has a different advantage. Telu has 90% damage reduction on almost all damage. Unless the boss knows to hit him square in the back, which they never do, Telu only takes 90% damage reduction, but he doesn't have many hit points, and that's where Heal from Afar comes in. So you can have him healed while the boss is doing 10% damage to him, and he really pisses bosses off. So they sit there and they wail on him while you're hitting them, doing whatever it is that you do, and then toss a heal at him every now and then. Yeah, that Mimic's great. I mean, look, there's a reason people use the Mimic. It doesn't stink. I just think there are ones that are more effective. I normally wouldn't use most of these knights. I will occasionally use this particular one, Redmane Knight, Oga, because he has that bow that's so irritating at knocking you down, and he will knock Millennia down, for example. But once she gets toe-to-toe to him, she just destroys him. Tish has the best opener in the game. As soon as Tish hits a boss with that blood effect, what's it called, whatever that is, the black knife effect, minus 10% hit points. So as long as it's an opener, even the incantation that does the same thing, boss goes to 90% health. There are few hits that will ever hit a boss harder than that. Yeah, but the problem is Tish is really good about not getting hit, but Tish is really fragile. So if they do get hit, you're in big trouble. Well, they're in big trouble. And Dung Eater is phenomenal. The one thing that Dung Eater does is he has an effect that will reduce the defenses of the boss, and he'll take more damage. Yeah. And that's the thing. They're all good. No! Damn it. Oh, I'm toast. I'm surprised I survived that with that death build-up. Oh, this guy. I've been backstabbed by this son of a bitch before. I don't know how. Anyway. So, just some thoughts. Yeah. Like I said, Black Knife's excellent. Yeah, you can absolutely beat bosses with any of the decently high level or decently high cost Ashes of War. Tish is just great DPS. You can't argue with good DPS, but he's melee range. So against Millennia, Tish has pluses and negatives, but they're still fairly limited. What? No, okay, that was not what was supposed to happen. Damn it. You should go for it. Just remember, have fun. There, Lima. Ugh, all that again. Yep. No, that's horseshit. Nope. Nope, that one. All right, let's do this again. I'm still trying to get better with this melee stuff. This is not my thing. What? That's how it's supposed to go. When I'm not absolutely sucking. So this weapon, what I'm using, the broadsword, its move is called square off, which is what that is. And the battle is between the broadsword and the Noble Slender Sword, which, by the way, is a really rare item, which I happened to pick up, luckily, on my first playthrough. So the difference is the Noble Slender Sword has a longer range. So, let's see. If I stand, well, I'm not going to be able to show it really well, but the range that you get, the targeting, the hit range, is longer with this than any of the other weapons. Oh, here, let me do this. Maybe I can do it this way. Alright, so, whoops. So see how, if you look at where the tip is, it's right on, let's put it somewhere kind of obvious. So see how it's kind of at the nose of whatever that is, right? Whoops. See how now it's way further out? So this has the longer range. But this hits way harder. But their default to action is that square off. That's actually what they do by default. What? Ah. Man, I've done these 100 times and I always get lost. I can never figure out the right way to go. Basilisks. Anyway, I think the DLC is pretty fun. I think they did a pretty good job with it. Ah, here we go, I think. Yep, there's the jars. Anyway, so it's interesting that the easiest to obtain. I did? I don't think so. I mean, I have 200,000. I don't know where I would have gotten 200,000 without having picked them up. Yeah, I did. They were at the top of the tunnel. I picked them up as I went in. I ran into the tunnel, then I came back out and I got on the stairs. They'd be on my little compass if they were out there somewhere. No, that's fine. Hey, I appreciate it. I'd rather you tell me I forgot them and I didn't than you not tell me and I did. So, I'll take it. Yeah, no worries. Now, I can do this. Now, for this fight, I don't want this guy. I'm actually going to go back to... I'm going to go with the ladies. So these three... These two... These ones... this one, and these guys. I picked this up. This is not one of the ones. All of these should be 9 or 10, right? Those are the ones I use. So any of these knight types are allowed. These two are not. But I can't bear to cast them away. This is my favorite, my second favorite. But the ladies, man, they're good. Oh, there we go. Yeah, do it that way. Get him. Blood's gonna hurt. What? I didn't notice my health get that low. Oops. Alright. That one. I screwed that up. All me. See, that's actually what pisses me off, is that, like, I have to be so far away from this guy. Oh. Ha ha ha. Alright. So, two things. Spoiler alert. And if you didn't know this, you should know this.
If you intend to claim the frenzied flame, I ask that you cease. It is not to be meddled with. It is chaos, devouring life and thought unending. However ruined this world has become, life in there is, if you would become, please.
Okay, so first, open the chest, get the thing, and then this. Secret passage. Alright, so something else useful. In case you didn't know. Pick up this stone. Okay. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay, got it. Nope. Nope, that was not supposed to happen that way. It was supposed to jump and it didn't. Alright, that's not the secret. Oh yeah, I'm hoping to show another thing. Okay, so pay attention. There's the fingerprint shield. Just keep going down. There's no reason to hit anybody. They don't need to be hit. Okay. It's not gonna... So, there's an item that I already have from a previous run that I'm not gonna be able to get. So, I will show you the thing. So, inside there... See that body? It's tip of the sword. Well, dude's butt's kind of hiding it, but... Here, see the swords pointing at it right there? That dude right there? He'll have something. And so the difficulty becomes, how do you get it, right? Well, you do it like this. Walk up and get as close as you can to the wall. Quit game. Beep, beep, beep. The rest should be obvious, but now I'll show you what happens. Push any button. And now, listen. Continue. And listen. Sound of breaking. The stuff's gone, and you can now go loot the thing. Glitch much. Helpful little fact. Now I'll show you a second one. Maybe you guys do or don't know this one. I've mentioned it a few times. You just keep strumming away. Pretty music. Alright. So, clearly... what's the item that's there? I don't remember. Oh, I don't. Honestly, I don't remember. I'd have to go research it to find out. But it's a spell or an item you can pick up that you're only allowed one of. I'm not sure. I picked it up on the previous playthrough. So the new game that I did. So the new game that I played is a I did the Frenzied Flame ending. So I went through there and did all the things. So if you didn't know, and again, you may, but there's others watching, I hope. If you drop a rainbow stone, it will tell you, whoops, it will tell you if the fall will kill you. If the rainbow stone shatters, the fall is lethal. They have a second use, much less useful, but it's still technically true. Watch what happens. I toss it, meow, where'd it go? It fell through the floor. That means that the floor is fake. Now, it also made the shattering noise. I don't know if you heard that. So if you listen carefully, you'll actually hear the sound of a shattering stone, which should tell you that you will die if you jump off. But we have nowhere else to go. So it's an animated... Yep, it's an animation. And that's what gets you here. So if you stop here, Melania gets very cross. She's here again.
I ask, please, as one deny not those who would when the land. Please, the Lord, when the land.
Now, if you keep giving the Shabriri girl grapes, she'll end up here. And I won't finish out the explanation, but I'm just letting you know. She'll be here, and that's where you finish the quest line for her. One more thing. Fake wall. Now, you may have known there was a fake wall there, but you should know there's a fake wall here too. And this allows you to shortcut to 2 other locations, depending on what you do as you go down. So going back to what I was saying earlier, just to kind of tie it together, if you want to know if a drop is lethal, right, so I'm standing here, I go to do, and I know I just mentioned this, but I figure I'll show you where it actually works for realses. So here, see how it does that? That means that I can drop there, and it may do damage, but it won't kill me. Now, mind you, I also miss all of that, but that's a whole different thing. Now, what I really want is a big bow, which puts me to medium, but I can live with that. And I want big arrows, just in case. Do that. Ah! Not hitting near hard enough. Alright, have a good night. Thank you, thank you. How'd that survive that shot? Boo. Like 1 hit point. Come on. What? It is Black Knight helm, chest, and arms, and I'm wearing the Death Knight greaves because I don't have the Black Knight greaves. I messed up last DLC playthrough. I have a challenge that I'm working through, and I have to be like a knight from the Middle Ages, more fantasy knight, and so I figure it's got the name knight in the title, so I'll go with it. Broadsword, brass shield is just a heavy bow. And then I have a limited number of spells and stuff that I can use, etc. Nope, not. Hold on. Oh, I'm on the wrong limb. Yeah, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stick with it. It's kind of frustrating, actually. One of the issues that I'm running into is I normally play a caster, so I'm usually range for me is a very different feeling, and I'm trying to live with the range limitations that these short little weapons have. I'm just not used to it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. This is New Game 3. Just gonna go through these guys. Oh yeah, yeah. The frost is. I think people talk about blood all the time, and I'm not so sure that frost isn't better. But again, I think like a caster because frost will reduce resistance. So not only do you get the big frost buildup and then, but you also get the lowering of resistance, which I think is a huge edge. Just my opinion. Ah. Ah. Should be where the heck is it? I feel like I'm going crazy. There's supposed to be. There it is. Let's say there's a lost grace here somewhere. There's Fia's area, where the Lich Dragon will be. And I'm going to call it there. I'm tired. It's late. Thank you very much for sticking around. I appreciate you. Thank you for the likes and follows. I'm going to keep on this journey. My goal is to try and get into at least beating the base game. Probably before I do the DLC again, and then we'll see. Not sure if I'm going to stick with the challenge, but I have so far. Anyway, have yourselves